This continent has suffered so much and continues to suffer because of imperialists. These imperialists have only one cliché in mind: Africa is the empire of slaves. This is how they see Africa. For them, Africans belong to them. Our lands belong to them. Our subsoil belongs to them. They have never been able to change the logic until today. This is deplorable.
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your boy here, Joel Mugisha, and if you're new here and you happen to come by chance, or make sure you subscribe, like this video, share, and drop a comment. Tell me what you think about this video on the comment section. And today's video, guys, I want us to talk about revolution that is going on the continent of Africa. And who else, man, than Captain Ibrahim Traoré himself, man, the president of Burkina Faso. He has been actually trending on the social media platforms for what he's been saying on his fight against imperialism. And for a long time, Africa has suffered against the hands of colonialism, imperialism, and slavery, guys. But before we talk about this, let's dive into this video, and then we're gonna come back and talk about this. Make sure you watch till the end, because this man must be protected at all costs.
This continent has suffered so much and continues to suffer because of imperialists. These imperialists have only one cliché in mind: Africa is the empire of slaves. This is how they see Africa. For them, Africans belong to them. Our lands belong to them. Our subsoil belongs to them. They have never been able to change the logic until today. This is deplorable. But how do they proceed? Unfortunately, it is since the 1960s that these 6,000 acres of independence have been given to Africa. They have just placed local valets at the head, according to them, of their sub-prefecture to be able to continue to feed them. These local valets, which we are going to call today the slaves of Salon, have other goals. They want to live like the master, to satisfy the master, and to do everything that the master dictates to them. They steal, they plunder our states, they bring everything to the master, and their wealth is kept with the master. They do everything to live like the master and always satisfy him. Do you know who these slaves of Salon are? Well, we are going to explain to you what they are. They are individuals who have no dignity, who have no morals, who have no personality. But the master slave has always known how to identify these individuals. They are always ready to betray their brother to satisfy the master. They have betrayed us since independence, and others continue to betray us to the benefit of their master. These individuals continue, against all odds, to help the master plunder Africa. They like to say it every year. In their economic polls, Burkina is the poorest country, Mali is the poorest country, Niger is the poorest country. We are ranked among the last. Very well, if we are as poor as they say. But when the time has come to take responsibility, we have asked this master to leave the place. Why don't they want to leave? When we take the case of Niger, for more than 40 years, some countries have been exploiting uranium to produce energy at home. From Ottawa to Paris, the streets are illuminated. It is the light. But in Niger, it is the darkness that has served us. When you go to our states, our soils are full of precious metals, such as gold. But often there is not even the slightest road accessible to reach the areas where they exploit gold, even less certain basic social services. This is why we have decided to revolt and take the fate of our countries into our own hands. There are many other examples, but when we decided so, we were approached by some saloon slaves to pass on the message of their master. Because they had created this kind of polymer chain that rises to the heads of our states to serve them. And we came to break the chain. And it is inconceivable for them. They approached us and asked us to enter the ranks to make the elite leave that must lead Africa. Because they have an elite formed and formatted that must follow, that is embedded in this chain. We refused to enter their ranks. And then the hostilities began. They have sent several mercenaries and trainers to our area. The agents have descended into the Sahel to carry out barbaric, cowardly attacks against our people, hoping to revolt them. In addition to these attacks on the ground, the attacks on communication, manipulation, and disinformation are full in their ranks. But the people of the Sahel have understood, and we will never be able to be manipulated again. They know where they come from, they know what they are doing, and they know where they are going. We will no longer allow this. People are awake, and people are fighting today, not for ourselves, but for future generations. And thank you all for the fight that has been fought. This will never make us cry. We will not tremble. We will fight. We will fight for real independence, for our freedom. Because to scare the people of the Sahel, these individuals have only 3 terms in their mouths: democracy, freedom, human rights. Of course, their local values are only elected in a democratic, free and transparent process according to their values. What is more normal, that we want to impose this on ourselves, because it is they who dictate the rules. Very well, we have decided to take responsibility. Do you know why on June 26, 2023, when Niger decided to turn the page, the slaves of Salon and their masters got on the big horses? They put their local values forward and decided to wage a war against the Nigerian people. So we said, anyone who dares to take up arms against Niger will face us. Because we will wage a merciless war until the last drop of blood for anyone who dares to attack our states. This word, this decision we made yesterday, is current today and will be current tomorrow and forever. Thus, we acquired the AES on September 16, 2023, in a mutual defense architecture. But we felt it necessary to extend and therefore enlarge the AES architecture. What brings us together today must allow us to go to other areas in addition to defense, including finance and economy, infrastructure, health, education. In short, I pass. So I hope that this moment will be for us a story that we will write for the AES, but especially for Africa and for the whole world.
Que Dieu illumine tout un chacun de nous
May God illuminate each and every one of us. May God inspire us in these tasks that are entrusted to us. And above all, that when we do all our work, that we have in mind only one thing:
l'intérêt suprême de nos populations.
The supreme interest of our people.
So guys, I hope you have seen this message. This is a message to all the black people all over the world, not just in Africa. This is a message to you guys in Jamaica. This is a message to all the Caribbean islands, in the Bahamas. It's a message to the black people in Guyana. It's a message to the black people in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a message to the black people in Brazil. It's a message to the black people all over the world, even in the United States of America. This young leader is a radical young leader from all the way in West Africa. He's the president, now the president of Burkina Faso. And his name, guys, is Ibrahim Traoré, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. This man must be protected at all costs, because Africa has been a continent that has gone through a lot over the years in the past, in history of Africa. Africa has been a continent that has been colonized. Her people have been misused. Her people have been abused. The African people have been colonized. Our resources in the African continent have been looted by the imperialists, by the colonial masters. And when Africa finally was handed independence, which was handed to them, when now the colonial master actually handed independence, it wasn't enough for him. He was not satisfied with what he had done to the African continent. What the colonial masters actually did, when they handed independence to Africa, they installed puppet masters to Africa. You know, they were the colonial masters, but when they left puppet masters. And these are the leaders that we have in Africa today. These are the leaders that we have in black nations all over the world. And the colonialists and the imperialists are still exploiting resources in Africa. Look at a country like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. They are being exploited by imperialism, by these Western countries. But now we have radical leaders who are rising up and uniting countries against imperialism. And this is the great Ibrahim Traoré that is giving a message to the black people all over the world. I wish actually we had an Ibrahim Traoré in every African state that we have on the African continent and all over the world, because this is what must happen in order to break the chains of indirect or neo-colonialism, post-colonialism, because Africa is still exploited. Africa does not still benefit from her own resources, because countries like these, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they are some of the largest producers of mineral resources. But these leaders have come together. They have formed an alliance. It's called the IS, the Alliance of the Sahel State. And this alliance has joined together in a military pact and an economic pact in order to fight imperialism. And this guy, this man, this great man, this revolutionist, this man, great Ibrahim Traoré, is at the forefront of this. So you guys in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, you have to listen to this. I wish and I hope and I pray even the Caribbean islands, the black people all over the world will listen to this and unite, because we need to unite. This is the fight against black people. This is the work or the things that the imperialism causes against Africa or black nations. They divide to conquer. As long as Africans are not together, as long as Africans or the black people are not united, the imperialists and the colonialists, they keep on benefiting. So guys, I want us to look at this follow-up video from Ibrahim Traoré. Make sure you watch this till the end, guys, because this man must be protected at all costs. We need Ibrahim Traoré even to be, the president of the United States of Africa.
I am not a politician. I'm not joking, I am a soldier. And I prefer to tell you the truth. Everyone is free to take or leave. Everyone drives around in their car. Everyone is living well. We eat in the morning, we eat for lunch, we eat at night. We do what we want to do. We are free to talk about saying what we want. It's democracy, it's the right, that's all. That's all we know about in Ouagadougou. But go ahead and see the children who have skin on their bones. Go see those who are starving. Go see those women who can no longer breastfeed because they have nothing left in their breasts. Go see them. Let's not pretend. If our journalists do not have the courage to go to the field and bring you these images, it's because we want to wash the image of Burkina. I tell you that it is false. It exists. When I tell you about the people who eat the grass, whoever wants to challenge, I'll bring him tomorrow. Go see, it continues. It has not even stopped. Because we were able to supply some villages, but others not yet. We are still on the way. No civilian can even support with trucks so that we can be in solidarity with this population. What integrity is this? What is integrity, Burkina Faso? What is it? This lack of support has deeply unsettled and revolted us. Until we address the core issues plaguing this country, we will always be revolted. For the moment, we've managed to secure some trucks in the army and have been using our own means to transport supplies. However, this hasn't really added much support for the starving populations. And even in this, there's been a distinct lack of empathy. Citizens knew about the situation, but they've remained on the sidelines. It is to say that solidarity has disappeared in Burkina. Have pity for the people. Have pity for the youth. Have pity for the children. What did these villagers do? So that when the sun sets, they find themselves in the caves under the trees. They leave the village, and in the morning they show up. They look to see if everything is okay before coming back. They sleep in the bush. They can't sleep at home. We don't tell you these truths. This is the reality of Burkina. We only see our cities. We are responsible for what happens to us, and we will be fully responsible for what follows. Either it's good or it's bad. It will depend on our behavior in the future. Everyone has to give their best. I think we can do it. I am optimistic. I hope we will get there.
Comrade President Vladimir Putin, African heads of state, Comrade head of delegation, good morning. It is an honor for me this morning to take the floor here and to pass on to you the fraternal greetings of the people of the land of men of integrity. It is from the Almighty that we have been able to gather here this morning in good health to talk about the future and the well-being of our people. I am going to apologize to the elders whom I may offend in my future remarks. Because of Africanity, because of the rights of one of them, I have to apologize. Comrade, I have a few questions from my generation. Not a single question that is being asked. We don't have an answer, and it turns out that here we can wash our linseed because we feel like a family. It feels like a family in the sense that Russia is also a family for Africa. It is a family because we have the same history. Russia made enormous sacrifices to liberate the world from Nazism during the Second World War. The people of Africa, our grandfathers, were also forcibly deported to help Europe get rid of Nazism. We share the same history in the sense that we are the forgotten peoples of the world, whether in the history books, in documentaries, or in film, insofar as we sweep away the preponderant role played by Russia and Africa in this fight against Nazism. We are here together because we are here to talk about the future of our peoples and what is to come. of the future of tomorrow, of the free world to which we aspire, of a world without interference in our internal affairs. We have the same prospects, and I hope that this summit will be an opportunity to forge very good relations and to create a better future for our peoples. The questions that my generations are asking themselves about the next generation, if I can sum it up, is that they do not understand how Africa, with so much wealth on our soil, with its generous nature, water and abundant sunshine, Africa is today the poorest continent. Africa is a starving continent, and how is it that our heads of state are traveling through the world of a man? These are questions that we are asking ourselves, and that we have not yet had answers. We have the opportunity to forge new relationships, and I hope that these relations can be the best, to give a better future to our peoples. My generation also instructs me to say that because of poverty, they are forced to cross the ocean in order to try to reach Europe. They die in the ocean. But that soon, they will not have crossed it, because they will come in front of our palaces to look for their daily sustenance. As far as Burkina Faso is concerned, for more than 8 years, we have been confronted with the most barbaric and violent form of neo-colonialism and imperialism. Slavery still has so much to impose on us. Our front-runners have taught us one thing: slavery that is not capable of accepting its own revolt does not deserve to be relied upon by its fate. We don't worry about our fate. We are not asking for someone to rely on our fate. The people of Burkina Faso have decided to fight against hypothyrism, capable of reviving its development. In this struggle, valiant peoples, wines, and a population have pledged to take up arms in the face of terrorists. The ones we actually called the VDPs, volunteers. We are surprised to see the imperialists calling these VDPs militias and of all kinds. It is one of those wines, because in Europe, when people take up arms to defend their patriots, they are called patriots. Our grandfathers were deported to save Europe. It was not with their consent, against their grey. Well, on the way back, we remember that in Traoré, when they tried to bandage their elemental sheet, they were massacred, so it doesn't matter. When we people decide to defend ourselves, we are called militias. But that's not the problem. What is the problem is to see African heads of state who bring nothing to these peoples who are fighting, but who sing the same thing as the imperialists. To our militia dealers, to our traders, therefore, to men who do not respect human rights, hence the human right. We are effusive against this and these shameful people. We, the African heads of state, must stop behaving like puppets who dance every time the imperialists pull the strings. Yesterday, President Vladimir Putin announced that the grain would be sent to Africa. And we are very happy, and we thank each other for that. But it is also a message to our African heads of state, because at the next forum, we must not come here without having ensured that our peoples will be able to achieve food self-sufficiency for those who do not know war. We need to learn from those who have already been able to achieve this in Africa. Build good relations here and build better relations with the Russian Federation so that we can meet the needs of our people. I may not be slow, time is running out and very short. We are obliged to stop and love my take. But I would like to end by saying that we must therefore pay tribute to our peoples who are fighting. Glory to our peoples, dignity to our peoples, victory to our peoples.
We must not be lazy. It is necessary to mobilize the population. It's not about you and your work. It's important that all your people understand that you are choosing to sacrifice yourself for them. So, when you tell them to go out to work, they must go out.
Yeah, man. This is the great emotional message of Ibrahim Traoré to African states, to the black people all over the world, and also to the people of the Caribbean, to the people in Jamaica, to the people in Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, the Bahamas, every black man all over the world. You must not sleep until you are truly free, because, man, freedom, we have to fight it. We have to free ourselves from these shackles of neo-colonialism. You know, neo-colonialism and imperialism has been affecting the black man for decades. Africa has been suffering at the hands of these people who come and call our countries to be third world countries. They call us to be the poorest continent, yet they depend on our continent to enrich themselves. Yes, when leaders like Ibrahim Traoré actually kick them out of their countries, they do not want to leave. What an irony, you know, because if indeed we are a third world country that knows no better, if indeed we are third world countries, if indeed we are the poorest continents, what are you doing in our continent? What are you doing in our countries? What are you doing on our lands? Get the hell out of here. You know, we have to kick these people out. These are slave masters still using imperialism to fight Africans. And guys, it's a sad thing, because whenever we have great leaders like these in Africa, they end up being unalived. You know, they end up being dismissed. They end up being quote unquote quoted as undemocratic, as authoritarian, as dictators, because we've had a couple of such leaders in Africa. We had people like Muammar Gaddafi. We had people like Thomas Sankara. We have people like, you know, Patrice Lumumba. Now this man, Ibrahim Traoré, and in the last 2 years, guys, he has had actually 3 attempts on his life, because Africa needs such people, and the colonial master wants nothing to do with such people in Africa. They want to keep actually on exploiting our mineral resources. They want to keep Africa at bay, because Africa is actually at the forefront of powering their so-called developments. Now, Africa, you need to unite. Africans all over the world, the black man all over the world, we need to unite. We need to become one people. We need to fight for each other. We need to look into this and work together for the best of our own people. Man, I applaud someone like him. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe and drop a like on this video. Tell me on the comment section, what do you think about this revolution? Because the African continent, the African young people, the young generation is actually waking up from the hands and the shackles and the chains of neo-colonialism and imperialism in Africa. Thank you very much for watching. So see you on the next episode.